Hi and welcome back to my playthrough of Vampire the Masquerade chapters. We just went through the first prologues in my first two videos of the game. In the meantime, I did play through the other prologues, so in total I was able to accumulate 9 experience points, so really no bonus, but I think the very first scenario we were able to get one more of those, so I really didn't play that particularly well. In the meantime, I also have, let's say, leveled up our characters. I will go through those in a second. And also one thing that I think I left it open for you to decide if I should be reading the campaign introduction, but after reading it I decided against that because ultimately it's super boring actually. Only on the very last page something is about to happen. I mean, it talks about some of the specialties in this universe and so on, but then also scratching only at the surface. I really don't know. So far the writing in the prologues was really good actually, but this campaign introduction was a little bit underwhelming actually. So let me give you a summary, which I basically did so that you know what's going on here. 15 years ago, the Sabbat ruled here, zealots and butchers who made bloodletting into religion. Then came the hunters and the so-called Night of the Ashes. One night was all it took to turn centuries of Sabbat dominance into dust and silence. The Camarilla moved in to pick up the pieces, and for a while things stayed quiet, too quiet. Now kindred are vanishing, clean, quiet, professional. A white van, a patch of Anarch territory, and a sewer rat with a story the prince doesn't want to hear. Sabbat signs, rumors of a white, and worse, the feeling that someone in power is letting it happen. To keep the peace and save face, the prince forms a coterie of neonates, green blood with everything to prove and everything to lose. Their job? Follow the train into the botanical garden and find out who or what is hunting the hunters. So that's basically it. That's all what happens. This all happened in some kind of a casino or so, basically in at Elysium. And yeah, you also learn that the Sabbat was reigning over Montreal for really a long time. And in the end, in this Night of Ashes, then they got basically defeated, but it seems the Sabbat is basically back. Let's have a quick look at the level ups I did, and the way how this works is basically shown down here. So a first level of attribute costs you 4, then it costs you 8, 12 and so on. Similarly for a skill, the first level of a skill costs you 3, then 6, then 9, and so you basically get the idea. And for Nico, I only spent 6 of her experience points, so she still has 3 left in theory, and upped her technology skill, because this is, I believe, where we are lacking right now, and I feel we may want to balance things out a little bit. On the other hand, for Harold Beaulieu, our Malkavian, I decided to give him 1 point in athletics, so he's moving a little bit faster around the map, and I also gave him 1 extra discipline, the obfuscate one, so he's the only one, I believe, who has now 3 disciplines, if I recall that correctly. Have to check that, but I think we spend, no, not all, we have basically 1 skill point or 1 experience point left. As for our Broocher, Thomas down here, I decided to give him basically a 3rd skill points in Brawl. So he pretty much, yeah, he needs to be our fighter. We needed 1 tank, and this basically has cost us, I believe, yeah, all 9 points in respect to our experience point. This also gave him additional combat cards, I believe 1 or 2 more. So overall, I think this was important. And last but not least, we have Samuel, our Ventru. I gave him also an additional discipline, fortitude, resilience, which allows him to really soak up some damage. I think this is important. And then for no real reason, I decided to give him 1 skill point in occult, because we didn't have anyone with occult knowledge in our team. I really thought about this long and hard, because I don't know if a Ventru really ever cared about anything occult, but then again, we don't have a Tremere, and we don't have, maybe I could have given it to a Malkavian, but yeah, in the end, Samuel Armstrong, he's our occult leader. Maybe I will come up with some backstory why he may have some interest. I will not really go through the details in respect to their combat decks, in respect to their the new disciplines. We will see them when it happens. We all start on humanity level 7. Your morality is still unmarred by the horrors of your new unlife, and at certain point in time your humanity will go down and you could basically turn into a monster, but then you're pretty much out of the game. So I think that was that in theory. We could now spend our fortune, our boons in this game, and there's one thing I kind of let's say repaired. I'm not sure if you watched my last video on this. There was one event where it says we have to lose 2 boons. At that point in time we only had 1 boon with Samuel, but I believe all these things belong to the coterie. So as soon as you have it, you are also able to spend it. And again, in the end I decided to give it away. So we could now spend this, but we don't have any more boons. But we could also go for a feeding event here. But I believe for this very first assignment, I think the prince wants us to leave right away. So we will go into our very first chapter, basically a little bit hungry. So in theory, you could get rid of your hunger level by going through these feeding events, and relatively certain we will see one of those coming up relatively soon. And I think with that being said, we should be able to start playing. I will do the the chapter introduction as usual, and then yeah, we will dive right into it. Dark Omen at the Park. These recent late summer Montreal nights have been plagued with several, often brutal kidnappings of vampires linked to the art world. Witness reports indicate that these kidnappings were the work of a group of hooded thugs, whose methods are reminiscent of the Sabbat. Thing is, there has been no sightings of Sabbat activity in the city for more than a decade, ever since they've been eliminated by the Inquisition and its mortal agents. This has the Camarilla in an uproar and has made the city's vampires nervous. The prince convened an exceptional Elysium to warn the city's kindred and give a semblance of leadership. A group of neonates picked from various clans, except for a single caitiff, was formed to address the situation. You are part of this group, either through nomination by someone else or joining of your own accord because you have a personal stake in this situation. Earlier this evening, Luciana Ricci, the Nosferatu in your group, spotted a truck in the botanical garden, the same one that witnesses associate with the kidnappings. You make your way there and reach Yuma's territory. He's the gangrel anarch leader and maintains a special tie to the Camarilla. Objective: deal with the Sabbat group in the park, read event E1. That's slightly incorrect. I believe we now get to choose one of the events of the characters that are basically part of this coterie. I will make up my mind in a second. And we'll notice here Luciana Ricci, the Nosferatu. In theory, we could still play her. And I think I mentioned this during my last video. So if I get tired of, I don't know, Samuel Armstrong sooner or later, or maybe Nico Miller, then I could replace them. But once a character is out of the campaign, so once I decide against, I don't know, Samuel or Nico or Harold, then they're really out for the campaign. Then I really stick to the new thing. In the end, we still have an awful lot of other characters to choose from. We still have a Tremere, we have again the Nosferatu, we have the caitiff, which is basically a clanless vampire. And the cool thing about those caitiffs are you can more or less mix and match their disciplines together, which works really well actually. But yeah, I think for today this is where we at, and so I think yeah, we have to get right into the app. And I believe in theory you can read them all, because ultimately they will all trigger the first dialogue sequence of this one here. But I believe it's sufficient. We say for now Samuel Armstrong is our leader here, of course. I mean, we are all right next to them, so I think we decide to go into the dialogue sequence with all of them. You were made to join a coterie of neonates assembled by the prince in order to investigate the kidnappings. Okay, it's getting a little bit redundant, it seems. You're here to prove you've got what it takes to keep everyone in line, avoid any screw-ups, and make sure no one breaches the Masquerade. So I think, yeah, he was the right choice. As you join the others, you notice that Yuma, the local anarch leader, is already here. Odd. Despite the invasion of his turf, he looks strangely calm. Are the rumors about the anarchs undermining the Camarilla true? If that is the case, it could lead to open war. Something you cannot take lightly. Okay, so we're going into the first real dialogue sequence of the campaign. How cool is that? And here we have Yuma, the gangrel leader. The gangrel in charge of this territory stands out of sight of a shouting, strangely clad individual. It's the Sabbat vampire you've been chasing. His shouts are directed toward a bunch of ghouls, humans and dogs who have fed vampire blood, turning them into bound servants. Based on what you can see from his distance, the group seems to be digging up corpses from the park. What? As you get closer to Yuma, he looks at you, nods and turns toward the invaders with a grave look. It's his turf, so why isn't he doing anything? His apparent hesitation doesn't fit the rage he exudes. Something's wrong here. Time for you to step in. So we now have to make some choices. First of all, we are all right next to Yuma, which means we can all participate in that first dialogue. And I think that's what I want to do, because I'm really fairly new at this game and I haven't really watched any footage of this very first scenario here. So I'm completely blind. So we can greet him and try to reason with him. If you are Aaron Conway, confront your sire on his inaction. So that's something we can't do because we don't have Aaron Conway with us. She's a Gangrel character, obviously. We can observe him silently, or we can ignore him and head directly for the Sabbat vampire. I think in order to show some respect, we are neonates, so I think we are really young vampires here, so let's not try to be too cocky in this case. So I think we will try to reason with him. The problem is, I believe, yeah, indeed, both of our really cool guys are both rude right now. -1 die to your next social skill check, but I still think we should be able to manage. So I think Samuel Armstrong will try to reason with him, and I think now we can actually have a quick look at our scenario here. So here is Yuma, here we are around him. These are basically difficult terrain, so we need 2 movement points, I believe, to move onto this space. Here we have some sort of a park attendant, park ranger or so. Here's a group of youth gang. Not sure if there are any problems. This is a couple. Basically these fellas here, and over here I believe seems to be the Sabbat somewhat. Not sure why we know that this is already a Sabbat vampire, but we are clearly being told by the introduction, by this first dialogue and so on. So I think, yeah, we want to try, what did we do? We try to reason with him, right? Let me have a quick look. Yes, indeed. So Samuel Armstrong is currently the leader. So we will have a look at our player sheet, and in case you didn't watch any of my prologue chapters, then in this case, yeah, I will maybe very briefly explain you what's going on. So we will have to make our very first test. We are looking at, what was it? Social plus persuasion test, but I see this already now. It's a difficulty of 2. Yes, we would be losing 1 die here, but because of this route here, but we have 3 automatic successes. So the tests in this game always work like you're rolling the amount of dice of the attributes that's basically corresponding to these skills, and then there's booklet basically tells you that you have to use a certain skill. In this case, we have a persuasion of 3, which transfers into 3 automatic successes. So nothing really can go wrong here. So we will also get rid of this root card with this. I think this was actually quite okay. We are still rolling 2 dice, 2 red. 2 black and 1 red die. 1 red die because we have 1 level of hunger. And then, yeah, we are even getting 3 more. This is a double success here, even on the red die. That's something. So in total, we have now 6 successes, if I could call that correct. No, we should have removed 1 die here, obviously. So maybe we should have done. Doesn't really matter. We made it. Yuma listens. We come into your territory with humility at the behest of the prince and sheriff. Please accept our presence as a token of peace to help you deal with the situation. However, with all due respect, how can you stand here and do nothing? Yuma growls. There's so much you don't understand here. Everything is more complicated than you think. Okay, that is now interesting. So we could leave him and go fight. I don't know. This is weird. No, let's not do this. Try to manipulate his feelings. So this could be a subterfuge test. Let's think also. I think Samuel could do that as well. I'm pretty sure we can manage that. Or we can push him a bit and an intimidation roll. They're all fairly easy. They all only have a difficulty of 2. In in the end. So I think we will try to manipulate his feeling. Not sure if that is successful. I mean, he's a gangrel after all. But again, we have gotten rid of this root card. Our subterfuge is a 2, so that's 2 auto successes, which basically already seals the deal here. But we are still rolling our 3 dice, and yeah, ultimately we were successful. I believe later on there could be scenarios where you're basically being told how many successes you roll. Then you have some kind of let's call it a table where you said from 0 to 3 you get this, you get the idea. I believe we have seen that even in one of the prologues. But again, ultimately Yuma versus the Sabbat. You're the leader here, sir. With all due respect, it feels as if you should be leading by example. Yuma growls again. Fine. Stop sucking up to me. I'll go tear those Sabbat shitheads to pieces, so follow me. Oh, great. Great, you convinced him. Thing is, there are still quite a few kind in the area. Okay, so I think ultimately he might now be fighting with us, if I understood this correctly. So we are now telling him to wait. So we're doing a social and persuasion check. I think this is also an auto success here because we have 3 persuasion versus a difficulty of 2. So yeah, I think we should be okay here. So I'm not going to roll the dice now. So let's see, before the fight, whoa there. Shouldn't we clear the park first? You know what, with the masquerade and all? Yuma calms down a bit. Well, look, who's all careful all of a sudden? Fine. Chase the kind away and hurry, I'm not a patient man. He'll join you in the confrontation once you're ready. Read event E13. Okay, that is cool. So we made our first success apparently. Yuma joins you. Okay, cool. Yuma has agreed to join you in combat against the Sabbat vampire. I'm not sure what we are dealing with here. So we're removing him from the tiles, so basically here. Okay, what has happened? You will set him up when instructed to during another event. He'll act as an ally. Okay, cool. And if park warden or young couple are on the tile, make them leave the garden to avoid any masquerade breach. Okay, this makes sense. Okay, I believe it's time to split up. So we want to get rid of basically everyone, right? So this is the park warden, these are the punk teenagers, and this is the young couple. Who do we send after the park warden? Maybe Nico alone. I'm relatively certain she can deal with him. We will send Thomas, the Bruiser, next to these guys, and right now we are not in a so-called round modus or so. It doesn't really matter how far we can move. Normally this is really athletics +1, and I didn't really get a full confirmation, but that's how I'm going to play that. I will still simply consider, I think this was part of the prologue of Thomas, the Bruiser. So I will only get my athletics +1 as movement again. Right now we are not scoring any rounds. In the combat sequence this is different then, but right now we can more or less freely move around here. Maybe let's also send the Malkav over here to these, so he's not alone. Not sure if they really will cause any trouble. And Samuel maybe over here. Tiny little problem though, if something happens, he's really one of our weakest characters, so I'm not sure if we should do that. But anyway, let's simply start with Nico here to go into the dialogue with the park warden. The park warden is making his evening rounds when you approach him. He's a man in his 50s with grey hair and a protruding stomach. Oh, that sounds familiar. He looks tired but smiles at you. Good evening. The park will close soon. What can I do for you? Okay, we now get to choose, and this is now also very, very cool if you have animalism level 1+. So I think with our gangrel character we might have whatever caused some distraction here. So that's not happening in this case. No, let me check with her. No, of course not. So we can now go into an idle chit chat or pose as an undercover detectives. Okay, right now I'm alone. Social and subterfuge difficulty 3. Her subterfuge is 2. She's rolling 2 dice because she's also rude, but I think it's still the best chance we have, right? So let's do that. So we have 2 auto successes, which is great. In theory, we would be rolling 3 dice because we are rude. We get to discard it. Now it's a social check, right? Yes, it is. We get to remove one. I'm relatively certain I'm not allowed to remove the red one, but I'm pretty sure the red one wouldn't cause anything bad to happen. So we need 1 more success on one of those. And also these are 2, so in total we have 4 successes on this test. Nice. A crime scene? You take on a serious look and rapidly flash a random card from your wallet. We are part of an undercover sting. There are dangerous criminals in the park this evening and we want everyone to stay safe while we move in forward for the arrest. The warden is visibly afraid. Of course, officers, here, take my park keys. They might come in handy for the investigation. You can just leave them at the front gate when you're done. Best of luck. Okay, awesome. So we're removing him and we get the set of keys, which don't do anything. Discard after usage or at the end of the chapter. So yeah, obviously they're only good for this first chapter here. But of course, we get to remove our park ranger here. Nicely done, Nico. I think I want to continue with Samuel next, who tries to talk to the couple. You casually approach the couple sitting on a park bench. You can see the Sabbat vampire nearby directing his schools. The couple looks up to you, all smiles. Hello there, perfect evening, isn't it? Try to make them leave or engage in friendly chit-chat. Normally, I think I would go for the friendly chit-chat, especially with Samuel, but now the Sabbat vampire directing his schools, I sense there might be some urgency to things, right? So the question is, do I want to use already something for my blood? I don't know. Let's not do that actually. Try to make them leave. So we are going in here. This place is not safe. You can't stay here. It's dangerous. Oh no, we should probably leave them. The couple get up from the bench, but they linger as if waiting for you to leave first. This is getting weirder by the minute. Stare intently at them. Insist they leave. Yeah, these are now these decisions. Again, when you don't know what's going on here, this is interesting. Of course, yeah, if you would play the game or this scenario relatively soon again, yes, of course, you would remember some of them. But if you really starting a campaign and maybe come back to it a year later, I'm relatively certain you would, at least I would have forgotten everything by then. So what are we going to do? Stare intently? No, I think we will insist. Yeah, okay, we have to make a test. I'm really curious about how things are going with Thomas and Harold because Nico and Samuel, they're both our strongest social characters actually. So I'm curious. Yeah, let's see. The couple look at you strangely. They still seem in no rush to leave. Are you with the police? Lie and say you are. Okay, that's a persuasion skill or an intimidation skill. What's better with Samuel? And actually his persuasion is 3 already, so that's an auto success. So we will go and we will tell a lie. Again, no point rolling the dice because we had 3 auto successes from our skill and things will get more challenging. I'm relatively certain about that. You quickly flash your fake police badge. You've got some explaining to do. They look genuinely scared. Please, we didn't mean any harm. The woman points discreetly toward the Sabbat vampire. That man just gave us money to serve as lookouts. That's it. He even threatened us. We had no choice. Get out of sight before we take you in for questioning. They take off running. Okay, we are removing the young couple from the tile as well. So it's this guy here who's behind all of this. Is there actually a park bench? Can't hardly see that. But okay, they're out of here. That's nice. And the question is now, do I want to go directly into the dialogue or I just found those keys and the only investigation area here is this one here. And maybe with Nico, we can try to sort this out first. And again, I get to choose right now. There's no round, there's no clock that's ticking right now. From what I understand, there will be scenarios where there is a clock, where you have a round track basically, where you really have to worry about time. And I think there is even a sand clock part of this game, which I will not use, by the way. If that ever comes up, I will have to find for something else, because really recording this and watching time and with camera positions, that's almost impossible for me to do. So, but yeah, I think let's do something like this. So we will place her next to this investigation area here. Okay, but here I'm not really sure if I'm on the right track here. Badly maintained TP, most likely left over from a previous exhibition, stands here. It's been turned into a shelter by some of the neighborhood homeless as well as various wildlife specimens. It's filled with trash and reeks of raccoon feces. Investigate, or we can ignore the TP. So I really hope this was something where I could use the keys for. I'm not sure what those are actually, but I will try try that. So we have to make a mental plus a search. Okay, that is pretty bad actually, because yeah, our search rating is really atrocious actually. So this would be the better one for Harold Beaulieu, the Malkavian. The question is, can I come back here now? When I say ignore the TP, I think it doesn't say I have to remove the token from the space. So maybe let's do it differently then. And here I feel I'm already bending the rules a little bit again. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to simply abandon this and later on come back to this, but typically the app tells you, or the booklets tell you what's going on actually. So yeah, let's do the same thing, but now we are doing this with Harold, who apparently he has a search rating of 3, which again means we have 3 successes. So ultimately we can simply read in 2 in this case. So what does it say? Oh, that could be nice. As you discard various junk and containers of foods and beverages, you find a partially hidden bottle of vodka with 2/3 of its contents remaining. You also find a dirty, tattered plaid shirt you can use as a fuse. You start crafting, and a few minutes later you've got yourself a pretty decent Molotov cocktail. Take the Molotov cocktail item card, awesome, and we're removing investigation area token 1 from the tile. And here's the Molotov cocktail. Not sure if I should trust Harold the Malkavian with a Molotov cocktail, but let's see. In combat, place a fire token on a hex in your line of sight. Rouse, oh, even need a rouse check to use. Okay, so yeah, fire tokens are okay, but then they're also can get out of control, similar to Mansions of Madness, at least the 2nd edition, where you literally every time somewhere a fire broke out basically. Yeah, it's okay. Maybe we need it. Let's see. For now, we will definitely hold on to it. But yeah, let's remove the token. Yeah, you can see that it's TP. Of course. Yeah, you can see that it was really covered by all of these tokens. So this is gone. And then I think the Bruja, Thomas, will talk to the punk teenagers, right? So basically these guys here. You spot a handful of young punks making small-time dope deals with someone wearing a hoodie. As you approach, the hooded customer makes a run for it while the punks can't seem to decide what to make of you. The leader takes a menacing step toward you. The fuck are you? This is our turf, you custom clowns. Bounce. Threaten them with bodily harm. Pose as a rival gang, or if we have the set of keys item card, give it to them as a gesture of good faith to get them on your side. Okay, that is interesting. I think we have the keys somewhere. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter who carries them right now. And Nico is actually right next to them as well. And again, this is where I'm a little bit confused about the timing of things. Can you move around after you have positioned everyone else? I think I can, but maybe not. I really don't know actually. So yeah, we will give them the set of keys, absolutely. There's no need for them. And somehow this even matches the Bruja's character. How about we make a deal? We've got the keys to the park. You can come back to any other night for as long as you wish, or until they change the locks, but in exchange we need you to leave and not return for tonight only. What do you say? The leader eagerly takes the keys and mulls over your offer. After a minute he motions for his gang to leave the premises. Some of the gangers grumble, but ultimately agree and leave the area. Cool. Take the Call the Herd effect card. Nice. Remove the punk teenagers from the tile. And yeah, we are also discarding the keys here, of course. Makes sense. So what is Call the Herd? Ooh, and that's a nice one, especially for Thomas, because he has a cap. A hunger cap of 4 only. Nice. Let me see, who do I want to eat tonight? Discard to decrease your hunger by 1. Discard after use. So we can hold on to this even. Cool. Don't have to discard this basically at the end of the chapter or next chapter or so. That is quite cool. Nice. And I believe then it's time to start talking to this lovely fella. But first of all, I think I can still position myself, because right now he's still a dialogue character, so he's not immediately whatever hostile from what I understood. So honestly, I want Thomas right next to him, because again, he's our tank. Maybe we will also bring in this fella here, Samuel. She carries a gun actually, so maybe we will leave her out here a little bit, and with the Malkavian, yeah, I don't know really what to do with him. So I think we will do something like that maybe. Again, I have no clue. And here it says, you are about to approach the group led by the Sabbat leader. From afar you can see they're digging up corpses and dragging some of them back to the van. That can't be good. Okay, if they are still on the tile, might lead to a masquerade. Resume playing. No, they are all gone. Or time to face the Sabbat group. Yeah, we will do that. Read event E16. The Vampire Monologues. The Sabbat vampire looks at you from his vantage point atop a small hill. A series of what appear to be graves have been dug up, and bodies in various states of decay lie here and there. Several thugs and dogs are scattered about the area, with the mortal blood slaves dragging bodies into the van. You assume these peoples are ghouls. The vampire walks slowly in your direction, dragging what appears to be a corpse of a strangely clad kindred. It looks like it was a victim of diablerie. So basically when a vampire drinks from another vampire. Okay, it's been explained. The unholy act of a vampire being drained by another to the point of losing their very soul. The Sabbat leader drops the corpse dismissively. I expected the prince would send someone after me, but honestly I'm a bit disappointed. He looks at each of you for a few seconds before evidently concluding you are not actual threats. He gestures to a view of his schools, both human and canine. They get ready to attack. Your corpses will send a fine message to the Camarilla, I think. He laughs loudly and leaves you to your fate. Okay, so we are not actually going to fight him apparently, but everyone else. So he is gone. And then, yeah, you get ready to fight. Okay, Yuma catches up to you. Clearly you won't be able to handle this on your own, he growls. Set all players, characters, Yuma, Mackenzie, Enraged Pitbull, Visual, okay, basically all these guys and Street Muscle on the designated hexes. Okay, let me quickly do that. So here we are. These are the two Dobermans. This is some kind of an old vagrant, and this is a Street Muscle basically. And here is Yuma waiting for us, and we are basically down here. So it really didn't matter too much where we positioned ourselves. I was really sure that combat would go on from here. Then if are still on the tile? No, they are not. I'm not sure how this can happen because my interaction with the Sabbat priest basically told me I have to resume playing. So, but okay, maybe it's a safety net. I'm relatively certain this is bad. So we are reading this, and yeah, now we are basically being told, yeah, which cards we are using for the old vagrant, for the vicious Doberman. I think we have them all. If it is active, remove the round tracker. Yeah, we didn't have the round tracker. How could a round tracker have appeared actually? This is weird. If it was active, it was not. The authority tracker remains active throughout the combat. Remember to decrease. Okay, maybe something could have happened. Maybe I could have, I don't know, messed up a test or so. I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, combat begins, and if we win, then this happens. And if we lose, this is one of the games where you have to continue, basically replay the same chapter again. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to do that. Actually, I will try to find my way around. Maybe I will simply consider myself a winner. Oh, so I will not replay a chapter here, right? More often than not, you will not get an if you lose instruction, as losing a fight means losing a chapter. Yeah, okay. However, if there is such an instruction, you must refer to it in the case of a lost fight instead of charting the chapter over. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there might be coincidences where stuff will simply happen. So I will put out all of these cards, and then, yeah, we will start combat. Okay, here are all our NPCs, our ally, Yuma, Mackenzie. We all have to look at the rightmost column basically, because we are playing a 3 to 4 player game, which I believe this is where uneven characters might be a disadvantage here, similar to Eldritch Horror. So either go with 2 or 4 players basically. These are the combat decks. So this is the animal combat deck for the Enraged Pitbull and the Vicious Doberman, and we have the Ghoul combat deck for the Street Muscle and the old vagrant here. In respect to our initiative, things are not so pretty. So Yuma is on initiative 5, so at least he goes first, but then basically 3 enemies will hit after us, and here we only have, so basically at least Thomas is hitting before anyone else here, for maybe this guy here. So So I think he needs to attack one of those guys here, trying to maybe get it right, and then someone has to whatever also get rid of this guy, because he will also activate after us. And whenever here we have a tie, I think we get to choose. And here I believe it's always the strongest. Okay, I have chosen the combat cards for our characters here. This is the amount of cards that you get is dependent on your physical and your mental skill, which is a little bit of a downer for Nico. She only gets 4 cards. Harold gets 5 cards, but he's really not our strongest character. I think here we have 5 cards with Thomas, exactly. And last but not least, we have Samuel. But at least Samuel is carrying his special umbrella here, so he's making some damage potentially with that, even though his brawl value really sucks. But he has a weapon skill of 1. That's at least something. Now we all have to pick 1 card, and I think for Nico we are starting with the hook, which is a mixed card because you can use it to defend from, yeah, basically from everything that's coming in. And if you're not getting attacked, we can still use it to attack back, basically. Harold is using his guard ability because this will increase his initiative, and he will generate potentially some defense tokens, and you can cash these defense tokens in for more initiative as well. So we are playing this card here. Really have to see how I'm doing this. Actually, it's getting quite messy. As we have to take out some of these guys, I believe we really have to play the high kick with Thomas here. Maybe I shouldn't play them face down actually, because otherwise I will completely forget what I've played. And last but not least, with Harold I will do the same. I will play his guard because with the guard again he will get, I think we will be able to increase our initiative quite a bit if we will survive this very first round. Then it's time to actually assign all these cards. I have done that, so I will start with Yuma Mackenzie, who is right next to one of these Dobermans, and he's always attacking the closest enemy, which I believe is quite okay. So what is he doing? Hopefully not defending. It's Special 1, and Special 1 means Alpha Rush. He's going for the most injured. I believe in this case this is a tie. I'm relatively certain I get to choose. Lunges in wolf form at the enemy's throat. That is very nice. Attack, self +2 movement, and target +2 damage. Okay, that is a pretty good start. Most damage doesn't matter here, I believe, because I think we are not going for potential things or so. I think we are simply moving up front to one of these guys here to 17, which I believe this is the Vicious Doberman. Exactly. So we have to peek under the card now actually, because we need to see if it is a defense card or not. No, it is a tier. Target +1 damage. So he will suck up some, or we have to take some damage. And for allies, we don't really need to roll anything. So we will see. He's doing 2 attack. He's getting 2 more attack of 2 more damage here. So ultimately he's doing 4 points worth of damage. -1 resistance. Oh, this is so unfortunate. So this Vicious Doberman is still standing, but maybe we have a chance. I have to find these markers now. Things are really getting a little bit messy now. But again, I'm trying to get my head around this. So they are taking 3 points worth of damage. 1, 2, 3. They always come, basically start from 0. So off the chart here, basically. So 1 more. No, it's 4 players. No, what am I talking about? We are playing at 4 players. They're here. No, absolutely. They're still very much here, and we know what they're doing. But that's basically the turn of Yuma Mackenzie already done, right? So yes, indeed, we are moving this fella over, and now we are starting all over here. We are starting with the, I think, no, it's actually the other one who's not damaged. It's the Enraged Pit Bull. And they do Special 1. I'm not sure if that's good or not. Highest initiative. That is actually Yuma. Indeed. Attack +1 damage, and the target is getting -1 initiative. That is pretty bad. And what is the damage doing here actually? 4 attack. So it's taking 5 points worth of damage. So I believe this fella has to move in here also. I think they will never position themselves behind us or whatever. They are not doing any of these shenanigans here. And they are now doing 5 points worth of damage. His resistance is 2, so at least he's still standing. Yeah, I think he can still suck up some more damage. But yeah, this can be pretty brutal. So this was the first dog done. We are doing the second dog, and I think we already knew what they were doing. Exactly this. Oh, did I forget something? Was special? Yeah, they're losing 1 initiative, so I have to move Yuma Mackenzie down 1 slot, but that's still okay actually. So they're attacking also the closest one with +1 damage, so that's 4 damage in total against 2 damage, so that's 2 more points worth of damage against Yuma Mackenzie. So yeah, he's basically still here, and they're not really dying. They go into this some sort of torpor, actually, which yeah, ultimately means yeah, he can come back later on. But that was number 2 done as well. Then we have the street muscle down here, and opportunistic as he is, he will go for the most damage, most injured. In this case, this has to be Yuma Mackenzie, right? So we are flipping this over. This is special 2. He doesn't have a special 2, so he's simply going for special 1 in this case. A strong and impactful punch in the throat, +1 damage, and that's basically 4 attacks, so basically 2 points more of damage against poor Yuma. But can he make it there? Wait a second, he has a movement of 3, so no, I think he can't make it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I think they can move through their own group, so no, I think he will move through the dogs. I'm relatively certain they can do that. But yeah, this means he has to suck up 2 more points worth of damage. Okay, he still has 1, 2, 3 more actually. So I think the next time he's getting hit, he might be dead. But now it's actually Thomas, right? Yes, indeed. So he will use his high kick, which gives him a +2. We can now decide if we want to use blood to activate his prowess, which would give him another, basically another die. So maybe we should consider doing that. And ultimately, I want to go after this guy here, because he's the one that's already damaged, right? But I think I cannot make it with him, so maybe Nico can shoot him. So I think we will move Thomas. He can move 2 spaces basically behind this dog, which means we are dealing 1 extra damage to this enraged pit bull here. And this enraged pit bull needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points worth of damage, but we know they're not getting any resistance this round, so maybe that's still good. So no, I will absolutely activate my prowess, so I have to make a rouse check. So we are rolling the red die. Okay, our hunger level goes up by 1, but I believe we will directly retcon this with Call the Herd, basically, which will then ultimately bring his hunger back to 1. Yeah, absolutely. We need all the black dice we can get, but ultimately we have now 1 more attack die. Cool. So his brawl is 3. He does 1 more damage because he attacks from behind. So that's already 4 points worth of damage. And it's really hard to track that for me because I don't want to redo the math all the time. So I will use those resistance tokens here just for me to remind myself, right? And we needed 8, right? We are getting 2 more dice from our high kick and 1 more die from the prow. So we're rolling 6 dice here, 3 dice here, and 3 dice from office, or 6 dice in total, and we have to exchange 1 die for a red die. And we are basically looking for 4 more hits, right? That's the idea, and that's a pretty dead dog, I would say. Awesome, nicely done, Thomas. That's exactly what we needed you to do, and that was the enraged Pitbull number 1. So this tile is out of here. That was really, really important. Here we get to choose now who we are activating, but we are before the NPC, so that's our small bonus we get, and we can remove those tokens here actually. But let's start with Nico, I believe, because she can maybe try to go after this fella. So 1, 2, and 3. Fortunately, she's not behind this dog here. She's to the side, so she doesn't get any extra damage whatsoever. She will use her hook card, which gives her a +1. So it's a mixed card. We can use it to defend or we can use it to attack. So let's use it to attack. Her brawl is 1, her physical is 2. So in total, she's rolling 3 dice now. So this might not be enough to take him out. He still has enough. Okay, that is not terrible. These are 4 successes actually. 5 successes. Let me see. It has a resistance of 1, so it's doing 4 points worth of damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. We would need 1 more hit. So yeah, absolutely. We will spend 1 willpower to reroll that 1 missed die. And in theory, we are only looking for 1 more hit, right? And that's the hit. Awesome. Okay, that dog is out of here as well. That is so cool. This was super important. So 2 is out of here as well. The hook card has been discarded. I must not forget that actually. Then it's both these guys here with a guard. Okay, I believe we should be maybe okay. Let's see, maybe we are okay. So with a guard for, I don't know, we will start with Harold. We will increase his initiative by 1. So he's in the same line here, but we will also now roll our defense dice here because we didn't do anything here. So we are rolling our defense. The automatic successes are 0 here, unfortunately, because he doesn't have a brawl rating. I think I really have to change that. And then we are rolling in total 4 dice actually. 1 has to be red. And yeah, basically we're getting 2 of those. These are actual resistance tokens here, by the way. We're not getting it. Oh, we could get attacked actually. Maybe we are getting attacked from this guy still taking his turn, right? I believe. I think so, yeah. Similarly, we do the same for Samuel. He's also using his guard ability here, so he's rolling also 2 extra dice actually, and he also has, so basically the same amount of dice, but he's rolling much better, so 5 of those tokens. So if he's getting attacked, he will definitely soak up a lot of damage. And I'm also wondering now, and we can still move, by the way, right? I believe we can still move. Exactly, as well. So maybe we should also move these guys ahead, actually. So his athletics is 1, so he can move 2 spaces. So he will definitely move closer to the action up here. And he's only moving 1 space, but let's do that as well. And then last but not least, this sucker will activate. And originally my plan was to kill him, but I think special 1. Okay, ooh, that's not great. So who is he attacking? The closest could be Nico or Yuma. I think I want Yuma to live because he's inflicting 2 points extra damage. Oh wow, that's 4 points worth of damage that she would have to suck up, but she would still be standing and she could still heal. So I think I get to decide in this case. So he will have to move 1 closer. So let's maybe do something like this. And he will attack him, which means she will lose 1. That could be a problem. She will lose 1 initiative and she will take 4 points worth of damage. So she's still standing right now. So if she's getting attacked again, that could be a problem actually. Okay, I didn't think this through, but I'm not going to change that now actually. I mean, she can still play a defend card, I believe. We should be okay. I hope. Okay, that's basically the end of the combat round. And because both of these guys still have resistance tokens, we are now basically discarding those. And no matter how many of those you are discarding, you get an extra initiative basically for the next combat round. So I think I will mark that like this. I believe pretty sure it's only for the next combat round actually. So we're marking them here to know, okay, we have used those. Okay, that is quite nice. So we will reactivate everything. So okay, we might have a chance to take out that street muscle and maybe also this vagrant before he's actually doing some damage. But we have to choose our cards now. And Nico will most certainly go for the dodge. And by the way, you can spend willpower to regain all the cards that you have played. So this is really the hand of cards we have for this entirety of the combat. So we can't change that. It's really a good system. I like that a lot actually. That's very, very nicely done. I will do all the other cards now basically off camera for the cards, and will also draw the cards for the two remaining enemies. Okay, I think let's start with Yuma. What is Yuma doing? And it's a punch. +1 initiative. That is cool for the next combat round to come. I really hope we don't have another combat round actually. That's what the designers say. This combat is designed that it shouldn't really last longer than 2, maybe 3 combat rounds. And if you really play that on the table with actual players, it's super quick. It's really super quick. So it's not doing any extra hits, unfortunately. That's kind of a bummer. And he is always attacking the closest one. So we get to choose actually, but I think we need to get rid of this fella here, right? Or we could go for this fella. No, let's go for this guy. Let's go for the vagrant, because I'm relatively certain we will not be taking him out. No, I think we can't get there. Yeah, because she played a dodge, so she can move away. No, I think this doesn't work. He could go after him. He was moving how many spaces? 2 spaces only. No, we will go for this guy. We will have to take this fella out. And if Yuma goes down, he goes down. Couldn't care less, actually. So, which means we have to peek under his card, and it's an attack card, which means he's not getting any extra stuff. Which means we are now doing how many damage? 2 attack minus 2 resistance. Is that true? Oh, that is bad. So we are not doing any hits with him. Okay, that was a little bit, yeah, underwhelming actually. But then it's basically these guys now. They got 2 initiative because of their defend card actually. So we will have to go with, that's interesting. We will have to go with Harold actually, right? That's the idea, because he's the only one who can do some actual damage with his low kick. I was really hoping for more actually. Yeah, this was bad. He did an extremely good call actually, good attack last round. So we will have to, I think we have to make some damage, yeah? And we played an attack card anyway. No, it's a mixed card, but I think we will have to do something. Yeah, absolutely. So we will attack this guy. We know he's not defending, right? He's peeking, and this special card has to be discarded actually. It's really a mess. It's a lot of cards here. And we need to overcome basically 2 points of resistance, right? His brawl is 0. He's getting 1 die. So we are rolling basically 3 dice and have to hope for something. 1 die is this, right? Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. That wasn't great. So we will hold on to this. We will spend 1 willpower to re-roll those 2 dice here. We will do that again. And we can do that. That is fine. We will do that again. Oh, come on. Okay, my dice rolling abilities are back. Let's do that one more time. We can keep doing until we are running out of willpower. Okay, that's better, but not great. So in total, we are doing 3 points worth of damage versus 1 to defense, which means, yeah, he's simply taking his first point of damage out of 8 or so. Oh, okay, this will be tough. So that Yuma was failing us here, that was a bummer, really a bummer. And then what do we do with Harold, right? No, Samuel, I keep messing up the names. So he played a punch, but he also played, okay, I think we have to move him now. I mean, he's only moving 1. That's bad. We have to do something about his athletics. So he will move 1 space further up, and yeah, he will use a defense, right? So it's brawl. It's basically 1 die, 3 dice we are rolling. And no, so we are not doing this. No, we are not spending any willpower for those unless, no, we are not doing this. So we are not spending any extra things. So we will move him back down actually, right? And the same is true here. So let's see, let's pan over. So these guys are back here on this line. They gained 1 natural from their card, but that's gone now. Okay, that was really not great. Oh, I think... Oh, I forgot actually. Okay, this guy should have attacked first. No, they were on the same line. No, sorry. I moved them down. Oh, that's why. So what is he doing actually, the street muscle? Hopefully defend. I know it's a hick. Oh, no. He's getting an extra initiative. We are getting 1 more damage in. Okay, that is bad. And he's going for the lowest initiative, which in fact is Nico. Okay, I think he can move down to her actually. Okay, that is bad. So he's attacking her with 4 points worth of damage. Okay, now I'm really glad I was playing the dodge card. So now we can reveal our defense card here. So we don't have to wait until it's our turn. So we're getting 2 dice and it's worth athletics. So we're getting 2 auto successes, which is cool. But again, we are rolling 2 more dice here, and that's 3 dice, and this guy is doing... No, we have to re-roll that, otherwise we will be dead. Basically, we need 1 more success, so I have to spend 1 willpower. I have to spend 1 more willpower. Oh gosh, 1 more. Yes, okay. So she has generated basically 4 points of defense tokens, resistance tokens. She is getting 4 points worth of damage, right? Yes, that's the case. So all of these resistance tokens are gone. Unfortunately, she doesn't get any initiative for that, but she still gets the extra movement this round. So she can maybe move out, or maybe she can move around to potentially kill him next time or so. I don't know. But I think this was the most vicious guy done. So next it's Thomas, and he really has to bring this home. He played his Skull Crusher, which gives him a +2 as well, and we are stunning if we are doing 3+ damage. Okay, let's see about that. Oh no, he's not making it to... Oh no, okay, we are dead. He's not going to make it here to this space. This was my thought process. We could move through our characters, but we only have 2 movement, right? This is bad. So he can move only here and go after this guy. No, this guy is activating actually. Oh no. Okay, yeah, live and learn. But we know the street muscle is not playing any resistance cards whatsoever. And we still have our math, right? So we are getting 2 extra dice from the card. We're getting 1 extra die because of our prowess, right? Yeah, that was our card. And then we are getting 3 more dice for our natural physical thing here. And with that, we need to inflict 8 points, 9 points worth of damage, basically. Yeah, I'm relatively certain we will be dead. Now, no, we are attacking the street muscle. The street muscle already went. We know he didn't basically play a defense card. And that was really atrocious roll, right? But that is okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, maybe. What did we have? 2, 3, 5. So we are spending 1 willpower to re-roll that. You can roll up to 3 dice, by the way, and never the red die. Is there anything else we can do? No, I don't think so. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Does it matter actually? Does it matter? We will really go down here actually. Let's do 1 more willpower here with Thomas. And no, okay, I think we are stopping here. So we inflicted theoretically 6 points worth of damage, -1 resistance, so that's 5 points in total that went through. And then last, but not really not last, it's now the Vagrant. So let's see what his card is. That's a punch, +1 initiative, and yeah, he's basically doing 2 points worth of damage, which is enough to take her out. This sucks. Oh wait, on the other hand, they are both closest, right? I think in this case we get to choose. I'm relatively certain we get to choose. So no, the 2 points are going towards Harold Bolio. Absolutely. Okay, that was really important. And now it's her. She got one movement out of her dodge card here, basically. So that is good. So we can move her out of harm's way and can make room for someone else, right? So her athletics, so she's moving 4 spaces if she wants to, and she will. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Moving her over here. So maybe, hopefully, moving her out of harm's way. Cool. Let's move into the next round of combat. But one thing I forgot, when we attacked this guy with Thomas, we did 3 or more damage. He's getting stunned because we played the Bone Crusher, right? Or Skull Crusher. And this means they can't attack, defend themselves, or move during their active turn. But we can still... Wow, okay, that is amazing. Okay, this guy is basically out for this round. So cool. Okay, then it's him. And who do we want to get rid of now this round, actually? I mean, the Street Muscle is the best one, right? But he's always targeting the most injured. So he will definitely move over here to this guy because he's the most injured. And he is doing... Oops, that was the wrong card, sorry. He's doing the bite, +1 damage, which is cool. So he's doing 3 points worth of damage. And is he going to do... No, that's not a defense, but he can't do anything. So that is really, really cool. So we are doing 3 points, so basically 2 points of damage in total. That is not shabby. 1 and 2, so how much? 1, 2, 3 more we need in order to get him out of here. And we know he's not going to activate. He would now activate, but because he was stunned, we are getting rid of the stun token. And then this bulk of characters is here next. Will we have a chance to really take out this fella here with him? And I think we should at least try. So we are moving this fella over here, Thomas, exactly. I did spend 1 willpower to retrieve all of his cards, which is why we are seeing the Skull Crusher right again. So again, we know the drill. I think we are rolling 6 dice in total, but we are not gaining any bonuses, right? Because we didn't hit from behind or so. Yeah, no, that is fine. And again, we want to hit the old Vagrant now. Okay, that wasn't too terrible. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think should we try that actually? Let's spend 1 more willpower actually with him. Maybe we can get rid of him. Okay, that's 1 more, but now we are out of willpower, unfortunately, with Thomas already. He's not really the strongest here, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6. -2 is 4 points worth of damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. And he's also getting stunned now because that was 3 or more damage, which means he's not going to activate this round either. Cool. And I should have checked his card, but it was a kick, which means he's not getting any extra resistance. So this is really a nasty fella. Resistance really sucks. And then it's Harold and Samuel, and I think we are going, yeah, we have to go with Harold before. We did play the punch with him. He's not getting attacked for sure, which means, yeah, but that's 0 extra dice, and his brawl sucks. So he's basically rolling 2 dice. And in theory, oh, this could be interesting. So let's roll these 2 dice. And he's almost out of willpower. So let's see. Okay, that is not too terrible, actually. But yeah, with 2 resistance, there's just... maybe that was stupid, actually. Maybe I shouldn't have done... I could have rolled 3. It is what it is. So this was him. And then it's ultimately... So we played this card here. Samuel, and he did play his card. Good thing is he's increasing his initiative. Maybe, yeah, maybe. Let's see. And then we are rolling for his guard. That's brawl. So basically 2 dice only, right? +2, right. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he will, he will get at least 1 token, which is good, which gives him an addition. Oh, that is good. That is actually quite all right, actually. So again, we are placing the initiative token here, which means next round he will be on the same level as the other. Okay, and I forgot to move him, so I will also move him 1 space further to the Vagrant. That's what I keep forgetting. But yeah, I need to move him. Or should I move him? the other way? No, I think that is fine. That is fine. So we did basically skip him because he can't do anything. That was the kick. We are simply discarding the kick. And once you're out of this deck, they're sharing the same deck. You have to reshuffle. So this was the guard from Samuel. And then it's Nico actually. And Nico did play her leap now. So we could do something with it. So she will get one here. She will get an extra movement actually. That is nice. So we can try to move behind him. That is totally fine. We have more than enough movement. And we are gaining +2 dice here plus the physical. So 4 dice in total. 1 is red and we have basically 3 auto hits because this is an athletics check. This is not a brawl check for her. So I think this is something I need to pay attention for her. Cool. So we're rolling 4 dice and we have 3 auto successes. Okay, that is not great. This is only the skull is basically we can't re-roll it. The skull only means if we have more skulls than we have successes, we basically lose stuff. So we have I think this wasn't a success, right? So we have to spend 1 more willpower with her. Yes, okay, that is cool. So in total, that's 3. Plus the 3 auto hits, again 2 from athletics, 2 because we hit from behind, that's 6. -1, I think he couldn't have defended and whatever, so I think this is basically gone here because he was stunned. So I think that's enough, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, he is out. Amazing job, Nico. So we have a good chance of winning this combat. So cool. Okay, next and hopefully last round of this combat. Again, here we can decide who we want to start with. And honestly, I'm tempted to start with Samuel. So we are moving him over here. I have selected the Pierce card here. No effect combined with a melee weapon. We have a melee weapon, the special umbrella here. When combined with a weapon card, +1 die to your weapon skill check. So in total, this is +2, plus the 1 from his normal physical. So that's 4 dice, and he has 1 in weapons. So basically 1 auto hit. So again, 4 dice in total, 2 physical and 2 from the umbrella and the Pierce card. Exactly. And okay, that is 3. We can't re-roll the red die anyway. So we have 5 points worth of damage in total. Again, we got a +2. No, it's a +1 only. +1. It's 4 points worth of damage. Sorry. We have to check his combat card though that's a... Okay, special. No, this doesn't matter. 1 and 2, but he still needs some more. But I'm still happy I did this for him. And then we are going over, yeah, I think Yuma Mackenzie is next. Again, special 1 is great, as far as I remember at least. Exactly, lunges in wolf form at the enemy's throat. +2 movement and +2 damage. So 4 attack are coming through, I think, yeah. And I believe he's still attacking from behind, at least how I think about that. I'm not sure if this counts for NPCs as well, but it's still 2 points worth of damage. And I believe it doesn't matter anyway, right? So we are doing 1 and 2, even the 3 wouldn't do. Oh no, the 3rd point would be dead actually, 4 players. Somewhere I read that they're not moving behind or so, that they're not doing this kind of shenanigans. Yeah, I believe that doesn't count for the NPC, so let's not do that in this case. So we will simply continue with, they're all done. I think we have to move him down because he's only up there because of his token. And then, yeah, let's do Thomas. And Thomas played his high kick. He's attacking from, yeah, basically, no, directly in the face pretty much. So it's 5 dice now in total, I believe, right? No, he still has, no. He still has his prowess card, right? Oops, sorry. If you can't see that. Yeah, the prowess is still in case. Effect ends at the end of the combat sequence. Exactly. So that's the cool part about these disciplines. And we are still not very hungry. That is so cool. But we are not getting... Yeah, we have 3 auto hits, actually. Okay, so 1... 5, +3, we can't hit them. It's 8, so no, he's definitely dead and gone. Wow, it was ultra close for a second, but in the end we made it, and I'm pretty sure I messed things up left and right, but I have to say I really enjoy this combat mechanic. It's really working well, including those NPCs. So if I'm really completely feeling overwhelmed by managing 4 characters, relatively easy can you exchange individuals with NPCs basically, and you see that here. They're not doing anything else. They have some passive abilities every now and then, but apart from that, managing them in combat, it's ultra simple. Really like that. Job's done! As you dispatch the last ghoul, you realize the Sabbat vampire and some of his remaining thugs have used the distraction to load some of the unearthed corpses into the van and leave. A quick search of the area reveals a cell phone lying on a pile of dirt. You deduce it belonged to one of the ghouls, as you don't remember seeing it there before. You pick up the phone and put it away, then immediately leave the botanical garden. Better not overstay. You're welcome. You can now read its conclusion in the storybook. How cool is that? You've survived your first assignment and the Sabbat menace has been dealt with. You even get a mobile phone from one of the Sabbat ghouls. Good thing it isn't locked. You haven't succeeded in learning much about the Sabbat vampire whose soul he drained, or the reason why he was digging up corpses in the botanical garden. As far as you know, the park is not some ancient cemetery. Or is it? Regardless, based on Yuma's behavior, you suspect that he knew more about the Sabbat vampire than he let you on, but you don't think he'd appreciate seeing your faces anytime soon. After a thorough search of the phone's content and SMS messages, you find a series of enigmatic messages to and from one contact. The contact is only identified as a series of numbers and dots. Further research reveals their coordinates to some place in the south of the city. You look it up and it seems to be near the notorious Five Roses factory. You better head there next. Awesome. So we gain 3 experience points and we take the "We did it" effect card. And here it is. You've won the battle. Now on to the war. +1 die to your next skill check. Discard after use or at the end of the next chapter. This is a coterie card. I believe one in the coterie can use it, I suppose. And this also reminds me we have to get rid of the Brilliant Mind, unfortunately. We didn't use it for Harold Bolio. +3 dice to your next mental check. This could have been huge, but it's gone and forgotten. And that's basically the end of today's episode. Definitely let me know what you think. I really thoroughly enjoyed this very first chapter, I must say. Really nicely done. Cool story arc so far. I mean, yeah, there were no real surprises so far, but honestly, I really like where this is heading. So I'm not sure if we are ever seeing Yuma Mackenzie again. For now, we have to get rid of him, and we are also leaving the premises here, of course. And I think for now, I will definitely stick to those characters. I didn't really use Harold Bolio all that much, so let's see how he is getting along. I know it's a little bit too early, but if that continues in the next story, I might really consider replacing him with, most likely, I think Luciana, right? Was the Nosferatu's name, but then I have to paint her as well. I only painted the 4 main characters here. Let's see. But yeah, do let me know what you think. And yeah, hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. Most likely the next video will not be a video about Vampire the Masquerade chapters here, but Corpse of Discovery, another game I recently discovered in my friendly local game store. It's really, I'm playing this a lot these last couple of days. It's super difficult, it seems. We managed to beat it once actually now, but for now the plan still stands that I will keep playing this game here. Do let me know what you think, but I'm not sure what the cadence will be of how and when I will bring out, let's say, new chapters of this game. Again, do let me know what you think, what you would like me to do, and then yeah, I will consider it accordingly. And then yeah, again, with that being said, hope to see you soon in one of my other videos, and yeah, until then, bye bye.